Yeah, so welcome to my podcast, Ian Roach, first one. And today I want to get into crypto. Literally been on my hands and knees for the last 25 years, hands in toilets, leaving gas leaks, finding gas leaks. I'm only joking about the leaving gas leaks. Always trying to chase the next dollar, trying to chase the next pound. At some stage, I wanted it to finish. I want it to end, and I'm still looking for that way out. Lewis, to my left, if you follow his journey on Twitter, retired, fair to say?
Yeah, I suppose yes and no. I think you never really truly want to stop, but I would say my focus is heavily switched to more passive income. I'm finding opportunities where I can take a little bit more time to put my family first and put my health first and find opportunities which resonate with me a little bit more than running around like headless chicken, doing a 9-to-5 job, trying to, make ends meet. So, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic intro. To my right, we've got Mike, another lucky one to be retired. Tell us a little bit about you, Mike.
Yeah, I've been retired 6-7 years. Retired initially on health grounds. Unfortunately, was took ill for a while and got back again. So I thought, stay retired. Why not? I've enjoyed it. Quite good. I do a bit of volunteering here and there. I like a bit of an investment, a little bit of a dabble, a little bit of a, not a risk, but a little bit of a sort of thing. But I've always believed that a pound's a pound, and whatever you get your value from is taking your value, and whatever.
Absolutely.
I'm always looking to increase and improve. Yeah.
Very good.
Fantastic.
So roughly 2.5 years ago, I got talked to a friend, spoke to me about 1 or 2 projects he was interested in. Followed his advice. It was a little bit tricky trying to get your money from your NatWest, your whatever it was, to send that over. But once all that got dealt with help, couldn't just manage to do that on my own. You needed the guidance. I found a good project which is gathering momentum. It's got a good community. It's got a good following behind it, and I'm hoping with today we can inform a newcomer like Mike. We've
Absolutely.
got Lewis again, who is well down the line with the knowledge what the coin and the token, the company are doing. And yeah, we'll talk all things up to now with you, Lewis, if that's all right.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's fine. That's no problem.
When Craig told me you were coming, I had a little look on your Twitter feeds and stuff.
Yeah.
And something about the retail park at Ellesmere Port. Is some major occurrence in your life that changed things?
Yeah.
I was really impressed with this one. It was good. Do you want to tell us about that?
The which bit? Sorry, the walking around
at Burberry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Mulberry,
Yes, of course. Yeah. So, I used to, as a kid, I think I was 16 when I first started. I think legally I had to be 16, and it was quite an easy job. I got my steps in, put it that way. I was doing probably 20,000, 25,000 steps a day, every Saturday, Sunday.
Bonus, yeah.
Easy job, really, because nothing really ever happened on Cheshire Oaks, but used to do that every day.
Until going home time.
Until going home.
Trying to filter
everyone at
through
the same
that
time. Oh, the abuse I used to get.
Yeah.
I was a big lad from a young age, so
that was more than likely
luckily.
Me. That was more than likely me thrown out the window.
I thought I recognised you from somewhere. So yeah, I was doing that, and I was walking around Cheshire Oaks, and I used to pop into the shops all the time. You could probably ask me now, where's this shop on Cheshire Oaks, and I'd know where it is still. It's pretty sad, really. But I used to speak to anyone and everybody, and I think that's where I started thinking about bigger opportunity, because I had a lot of time on my hands.
Yeah.
I used to listen to a lot of podcasts as I was walking around. Wasn't allowed, but I used to do it anyway. I used to just put my headphone in and head down, walk around. And I was always thinking, what can I do to make a few more quid? I was only a young lad, and I was earning £1,000 a month just working on the weekends. So I was like, this is all right. This, I had my own little scooter.
And
off I went. And so I used to walk around the Cheshire Oaks and speak to anyone and everyone. And for the type of person I am, I was chatty, and I used to try and create value wherever I went. And I always used to say to people, if you never need anything from me, come and give me a shout. Do this. And always talking different business ideas,
Building
loads
networks,
of people. Building network. The network is your net worth. And, and opportunity come and game. And I started realizing that there was Cheshire Oaks is a very accessible place for me. It's on my doorstep. There's a lot of high designer products there. And given the right opportunity, the amount of time spent there is always opportunity.
Yeah.
So I used to walk in and out of the shops, and I used to speak to people and say, "Oh, if you ever reduce anything, let me know. I'll come and grab it off you. And if anything looks like a steal, give me a shout."
Yeah.
And then I realised there was an app on your phone called Red Laser, and you could download it, and you could scan the item. What it would do is it'd search the web for existing products at what price. And I used to do that. I used to go around, shove it on eBay, and a couple of things used to happen. And then all of a sudden it started getting a bit better, and, and more money started coming in. And then I went to Mulberry one day, and one of the girls that worked there said, "Oh, we've got some iPad cases if you want some, Lewis." And I was like, "Oh, right, okay." Didn't think anything of it. I didn't even know what Mulberry was at this point. And she said, "Oh, they used to be £380, and they're 15 now." I was like, "Well, that's a hell of a margin, isn't it? That's that's 95% reduction there or more."
Yeah.
I thought, okay, well, I'll have a little look on eBay, and on eBay you can press sold rather than
completed listings.
Completed listings rather than auctions. You completed and sold. So I looked on there and I was like, "Hang on, these are going for a couple of £100 these, and they're selling quick." So I thought, "Oh, do you know what? Give it a go. I've got a credit card. I've got a limit on it. We'll max it out."
We'll go for it.
I ended up buying, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's about 25, 30 of them.
Yeah.
Sold them for about £200 each.
Really?
Made six grand, I think, in a month.
So you've always had that eye for
opportunity.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
That's what it's all about, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think if you've got it in you, I don't think you can learn it, to be honest. And maybe I'm wrong, but I think you've got to have a little bit about you to want to go and succeed in order to make it work. Because there's people, you need different types of people in life.
Yeah.
You need the people that are happy to live their life and enjoy what they're doing in their comfort.
Yeah.
But you also need the risk takers that, do want to, make that big jump and are willing to lose it all in order to make it.
So you're, don't mind me saying it, a generation probably younger than me. Fair to say.
Yep.
And I'm probably a younger generation than Mike. So
sorry, mate.
You got a few different generations in this room, but all, again, all excited about your journey so far.
Yeah.
You went from your Cheshire Oaks into your sales job.
Yeah.
What got you first and foremost into your crypto journey? What was the angle?
What was the pinnacle point?
What grabbed you? Yeah.
It's a weird one, really, because I don't remember exactly if it was one or two things. One was being a friend of mine was buying Bitcoin. And I didn't have a clue what it was. We were in a pub. I must have been 23, something like that, 24. And he was like, one of my friends, he said one of his friends was buying a load of it. And he's buying a lot of it, really getting into it. It's like, right, okay. And he said, just download this app, Coinbase.
Yeah.
Put a couple of quid into it and buy a couple of tokens. And at the same time, he was telling me to do that. I was kind of ignoring his advice because I thought I was, no, not for me, whatever. As you do. Yeah. I felt lucky, really, with, I landed in the energy industry.
All right.
So I started working for a company in Chester and started selling energy. And I got given an opportunity because I knew the sales manager's partner.
So how many times have you been told to fuck off after 5 o'clock? Don't ring back in.
A lot of times. A lot of times.
Excuse my French, but I know
a lot of it is, my past history is all phones based, really, being able to pick up a phone.
Do you realise it's tea time?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
It's like,
ring me back next year or never. It was literally that. And you had to be able to, again, ask those challenging questions that people didn't want to ask.
Again,
especially the pressure. We had targets of £22,000 a month.
Yeah.
It's just crazy thinking about it because I was on like a 20 grand salary with 5% commission and you're pulling in £500,000 for a company. It makes you think, Christ.
Yeah.
So I did that for a good 4 years. And there all so many rejections, but being able to overcome rejections is a skill.
Yeah.
Some of the funny ones are like, when they say, I'll have to ask my partner, I'll have to ask my wife. And then one of the rejection handlers, oh, did your partner not trust your opinion?
Yeah.
And, it's stirring the pot there a little bit. And it's like, oh, hang on. But it's fun. It's taught me a lot over the years, and it's made me who I am today. And everyone's got different paths they go down. But I've always realised I've always been very numbers focused. Yeah. On a call, being able to sell something then and there, knowing what my margin is in it. I used to sell energy. Let's say I used to get it at 15p a kilowatt. Yeah. And I knew if that company was doing a gig or 100,000 kilowatts, let's keep it simple, and I put a penny in it, it's £10,000. If it's £10,000 over 3 years, it's £333 and 33p, whatever. Yeah. 333,000, sorry. Yeah. But in terms of having that ability, it wasn't really used anywhere else. Yeah. It's used to in my work life, but nowhere else. So I did that and didn't have any...
with the hunger you've got and the passion you've got for getting back to your CTRULER, your CryptoNet, your Twitter name, you can see it in person, don't mind me saying. You're a very bubbly person. You can see that where that comes across on Twitter. I can see how passionate you are for, and imagine buying kilowatts, selling kilowatts, typewriters, photocopiers.
But whatever it is.
But looking at your
sand to the
arrows, snow to the
Astros, looking at your passion on your X account, is sometimes what's the word? It's revitalizing, it's refreshing, because there's so much negativity on social media. And you're going to get these people who say it's a scam. So I first came across your profile roughly 18 months ago, and your driving force and personality comes out within your profile online. And trying to do that in person, so a lot of people hide behind the keyboard warriors or whatever. So you've got your profile on Twitter isn't in comparison to you in person, if you don't mind me saying. You're such a good character.
Thank you.
And you can see that you've been well educated, well raised, and I'd imagine your kids are not far from the tree as well.
Well,
that's down to you. That's down to you.
Absolutely.
But and when you speak to people on Twitter, you don't know if it's a fake profile, you don't know if it's bullshit. But it's only when you meet people and you think, right, this guy, he's still early 30s and he's still driving for the next.
I don't think it ever stops, does it?
That's fantastic. How optimistic are you about the WTK run? About the AMA that's about to happen on the 13th, so it's Tuesday, so a few days' time.
What's an AMA? Sorry.
So it's ask me anything, it means. Right. So traditionally in crypto, what tends to happen, especially so my name's CTRULER because crypto Twitter ruler, basically. But they've changed it to X now, so it's kind of gone out the window a little bit, hasn't it? So it's not Twitter, it's CX. But anyway, someone's going to rob that now, aren't they? So what tends to happen in the space is crypto businesses, use the words crypto businesses, tend to have a lot more communication with the investors over Twitter than you would normally get from a traditional business. And they do that by the community coming together with questions and being able to direct those to the business itself. So that's an Ask Me Anything. And yes, Wadzpay do have one this Tuesday.
Right.
So my expectations are low. And the reason why they're low in terms of what I expect from that is because Wadzpay are a completely unique business within the crypto space. The way that I would explain how they are as a business would say that they're a real life business with a blockchain solution. What I mean by that is they're not here to please the crypto community like most projects are, because unfortunately 99% of businesses out there haven't got the right intentions. They're not here for longevity. They know how easy it is to do an ICO, to raise funds, they know how easy it is to gather momentum on a community. You just have to look at all these meme coins, which are basically means non-utility
Yeah.
tokens. So they've got no reason to exist. They're community ran, and it's a punt. It's gambler's paradise. And unfortunately, most people's mentality in crypto is that of a gambling mentality. People want instant success. And unfortunately, it's the way people are growing up at the moment. Gratitude isn't the way that people get things now is so easy. You can order something on your phone. You can get it the next day. Amazon next day. Everything is so quick, instant gratification. Whereas with investments, and like Mike, and obviously like Ian, is longevity is key. And finding a product and a service that are also tracking the same values as some of the big blue chip companies do in terms of looking to keep the business running at a steady pace, being able to still interact with the community because they know the tokens are a very important part to their business, but also do things by the book, because there's a lot of scrutiny with crypto projects at the moment. There's a lot of negative opinions from the press, from media, from this is why people don't look at crypto and see it.
Do you think the reason is behind that?
I think it's because a lot of people go into it like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
I've been burnt before.
Misunderstanding.
Yeah, you have to learn from your experiences, like anything in life. And I've lost a lot of money on things.
Do you think we're put off investing in crypto currently by the powers that be, by everyone above us, the banks, governments? Do you think we're kind of, it's shooed away from it?
I do. I think they make it harder. 100% they make it harder for you to be able to purchase it.
And would that be because they're afraid of what is coming, the incoming?
Yeah, I would say so. But the difference is what we've got to remember is there's only one truly decentralized token, and that's Bitcoin. Everything else is centralized, meaning governed and owned by somebody. So at the end of the day, the governments can eliminate nearly every single currency, bar one, that currently exists. So this is why my mentality is, well, if the governments and the powers above have the ability to do that,
pull the rug,
then let's back the tokens that they're going after and they're working with. That's longevity, and that's being able to understand that actually, yes, there will come a time where the banks will, use blockchain technology. They'll use certain tokens. They won't just use a few, they'll use a lot. And it's finding those tokens, and the governments will, finding those tokens that have real utility and real use case. At the moment, of course, it's going to be a while yet until that truly is, put to the ground. But there's a lot of opportunity.
So getting back to WTK and the AMA.
Sure.
What would be a negative? What's going to bring negativity to the community?
So the biggest problem that I think Wadzpay do have is they do have it's a good and it's bad. So they do have a great and a very strong vocal community out there. Although there's not thousands, hundreds of thousands of us, it's very vocal.
Of course.
And if something does have a negative spin and expectations aren't met, then people are straight on it. And as you can imagine,
it's almost tribal, isn't it? Don't you think?
It is. It's like having your football team.
It's like going to a football match, and if that team isn't performing, you can let them know, can't you? Understand? I've noticed that in my short term involved with it, but nonetheless, it's gaining traction. The avenues in which WTK and Anish has kind of gone down to get it this far up to now, the professionalism in the company and where he's come from, his background with MasterCard,
crazy
in the past, and he's basically brought that team in, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of 2024, and we're in February now, AMA is on the 13th. Where do we go with WTK? This year, let's just say 2024. After the AMA, if it crashes, it probably will. It's usually
hopefully not.
It's usually one of those.
To be honest, I think we're priced in at the moment. I think it's people's expectations aren't of big news yet. Because like I say, what Wadzpay are doing is they're doing things differently to what everyone else is doing, and they're going after regulation first. Okay, so they're making sure that the products and the services that they're offering and are using on their blockchain fully regulated and compliant with the streams of line of work they're using them in. So, for instance, obviously you've got VARA.
Yeah.
So VARA is Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority,
That's right.
and that's owned by the Dubai government. Okay. So Wadzpay initially got the first approval in August of 23. So it makes me laugh because people still talk about Wadzpay and go, well, what have they done? What have they, they're not making any strides. Well, actually, think of it as a two-step approval to get VARA. They've had the first checklist. If they weren't going to hit criteria, or for whatever reason, they were not a business that were legal, let's just say, or a business that were going to look bad, then they wouldn't have passed that first hurdle. They wouldn't be here. Think about it. They're working with the governments. They're working with banks, big institutional businesses, and working with cross-border payment companies. They're working with existing payment companies. There's no way on this earth they would have got the first initial approval. So
they probably wouldn't have got the thumbs up from NASDAQ, would they? 12 months ago.
This is another thing. So March 23. This is my photographical memory. I can see it. I can see it now. I can see the numbers.
Almost 12 months. Yeah.
So what's crazy is NASDAQ have never endorsed another cryptocurrency token before. The only one they ever do. So what you can do is you can go into NASDAQ's Twitter. Okay, so it's NASDAQ Exchange, and you can search their timeline, basically. And I went through it, and I put the top 300 tokens in there to see if they've ever talked about any other project. The only other one they spoke about was in 2018 was Ripple. They did one post. The only other one they've done to that, second one, was Wadzpay. Okay, so you can see what Ripple are. Ripple are a £40 billion company. Wadzpay right now, in terms, I say £40 billion company, sorry, XRP is a £40 billion token.
Yeah.
WTK, I think, is currently sat at 13 million, right? Both payment companies, both layer ones, both have their own technology, both have huge potential.
To rocket.
Yes. The thing that puts me off investing in such as Ripple and whatever else is that I think they've already done the bread.
Yeah.
I think they've already got to where, for me, in terms of amount of money that can be made, if I had 20 million quid, I probably would put it into Ripple because it's probably going to do at least to $5.
Yeah.
If they're going after the complete, Swift messaging system, then I think it's worth something like 10 trillion. You price it in now, XRP, if they're at 40 billion, you've only got 10, 20, 25 times, 250 times. Sorry, that's poor. Yeah. I think it's, 400 million. Yeah, to max. No, wait, it's 25 times, isn't it? It's 25 times. So it's $12.50 token, right? Yes, that's okay. But that could take 10 years. It's still finalising a lawsuit. So for me, I was looking for other opportunities, and obviously Wadzpay was that one. But in terms of expectation from the community, so off track there a little bit, but expectation from the community, I think they need to, the problem with them is, like I was saying, they are a traditional payments company. So they're heavily focused on doing their work behind the scenes. Traditional payment companies, FIS, these are more merchant acquirers, but like Network International. But if you were to look at like Emirates MBD, but you don't see updates often.
Yeah.
You see quarterly updates, which are given to the masses directly from the website. Yeah. You don't get the owner, or you don't get
always embracing
the community and keeping everybody happy.
Right,
We're very lucky that we have somebody that understands that the community is also important in the crypto world. But some people expect a traditional crypto companies type of attitude. Whereas someone coming out every other day saying what they're doing, how they're doing it. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's big red flags to me because that's pleasing a community. Yeah. That's trying to be something they're not. Yeah. Giants move in silence. They are moving in silence. The amount of research I've done, honestly, I do probably, I don't as much anymore because I know it's inevitable, but I used to do 6-7 hours a day, every day, for years. Yeah. Trying to dig and find stuff to get this far. And
so I think are we about 2 cents 70 today? Is that what we asked?
Yes, I think so.
Could that go up to 20, 25 cents after Tuesday? Or is that
I've
a
seen
little
it
bit
before.
soon?
Honestly, I've seen it before. There's no such thing as can't in crypto.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy, is because what people don't understand is there doesn't need, so let's say it went from 2.7 cents to 27 cents. It's 10 times, right? 10 times then the business value, or the price of the token, sorry, the market cap. So you're looking at what, 130 million, right? That it doesn't need 130 million pounds of investment. That is simply what the business is valued at.
Yeah.
So what that means is to move the project up to that state to 27 cents. It depends how much liquidity is stopping it getting to 27 cents. That could be 100 grand.
Yeah.
If you look at the sell walls, what people are selling it for.
Yeah.
So if the value meets what the business has done, it could go to anything.
Yeah.
So for instance, on one of the AMAs, they've said they're working with the largest merchant acquirer in the Middle East and MENA region. That is Network International. And I say it with confidence is because the amount of research I've done, I'm pretty damn, and I think a lot of the community already know it's probably Network International. If Network International come out and there's a partnership with Network International that Wadzpay technology is being used, as a payment option for settlement on POS machines. So if we went to, let's say you went to the local shop. You went to the local shop and you wanted to buy even a packet of sweets.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay with cryptocurrency. Okay. You can pay with fiat. The shop owner can receive fiat. Okay. But the technology in between, so the payment line is blockchain. Okay. Not traditional routes, which could be, it could be Swift payment route, it could be anything. MasterCard, whoever, Visa, whatever. So what it does is the fiat up ramps onto the blockchain, goes across the blockchain, and then off ramps off the blockchain to the end user. This is integrated into the POS machine. But what people don't realize is WTK, the token, is the native token to that blockchain. Okay. So in order for that payment to move, so think of it as a train on a track, right? In order for that train to deliver its coal to its next station or whatever, it's got to be fueled by something. Okay. What is it that fuels that, train? So therefore, what fuels this train is WTK. That needs to be the token that forces that payment through. So there's utility, there's a reason for it to exist. So what people aren't understanding is, or they do understand, but Network International, I've got a merchant platform of 150,000 merchants. Okay. Some of those massive players, we're talking Dubai Duty Free, who Wadzpay are also partnered with. And if you put it down to the amount of transactions that probably go through their POS machines that potentially would come through WTK, the value is crazy. Yeah. And what I mean that is Ethereum currently do 1.1 million transactions a day. Okay, so let's just say for easy sake, 400 million a year, right? If you've got 150,000 merchants, okay, so shops, let's just say shops for easy sake. And each shop does 100 transactions a day. Could be anything. Doesn't have to be anything large. Let's just say an average, because we're talking some of the big merchants they use may do 1 million a day.
Yeah.
Let's just say 100, easy sake. That's 15 million transactions a day, 365 days a year. That's already 15 times the amount of volume on a blockchain than Ethereum, which is currently sat at about £300 billion market cap. Wadzpay's 13 million. Value comes in different forms, okay? So Wadzpay aren't looking for people to build on their network. Ethereum as a layer one, which means it's the ground layer, what people can build other systems onto. Ethereum allow people to build onto that network. Yeah. So the gas fees are used when people create things on the network to mint, to whatever. Could be anything. The difference is Wadzpay aren't showing their technology to anybody. They're not allowing people to see it. And the reason they're doing that is because the technology is so advanced, they believe, in the payment industry, that why would they need users like me and you and everybody else to build onto it to congest it?
Yeah.
more people use it, the more congested it is, because a blockchain only does so many transactions per second. Wadzpay does, well, they've tested it in a testing environment at something like 78,000 transactions a second, which is a lot.
Yeah.
You're talking Ripple currently do, I think, max out at 1,500 or 5,000. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I know the difference is, you compare eggs with X.
Yeah.
It's very different. So that's what I'm excited for with Wadzpay the most, is the technology behind it. No one's done refunds on the blockchain yet. And what I mean by that is you go to a merchant, okay? You purchase something. It's one transaction to you. And then if you want to refund that transaction, it's a completely separate transaction that they have to send back, okay? Wadzpay have the refund capability where that original transaction can be reversed. No one's done that yet.
Yeah.
No one's got that. Wadzpay have that in their technology. And that's huge to being adopted by normal people, by the likes of us. Why would a shop use it if it's difficult to use? They wouldn't. But the technology is crazy. I recently found out they did a post a couple of weeks ago that they allow clawbacks. And that's really interesting as well, because as a business, or a bank, if something gets hacked and made up for fraudulent reasons, they can claw back that funds. That's crazy for blockchain.
Proper companies is thinking this out. It's not a scam.
It's not someone in the shed next door.
It sounds really, really exciting. And me as a layman, as I say, I probably got a couple of grand to put into something. And you've mentioned several great analogies which have put in smashing terms for me. You train, track, etc. I've got two other analogies that cross my mind. And the first one, my background is in sales training, sales management, and we always had to think about planting the seed, growing the plant, growing into bigger and stronger. Do you go for an acorn to an oak tree and take that sort of distance and gap and all the maintenance and all the thing, or do we go for watercress that will produce in a couple of small movements? I mean, that's where I'm sat at the minute, and I see this as a sort of a real opportunity to get off the ground there. And, it looks like a cracking opportunity to me. So it's certainly opened my eyes to
like you've just said. Then, what do you go for?
Yeah,
and I think that completely depends on you as a person and your tolerance to risk. I like taking risk. I think it's just in me.
Yeah,
Wadzpay is a risk. Absolutely, of course it is, until they get the regulation. Until everything's a risk, but without risk, there's no reward. The way I see Wadzpay is it's a relatively lower risk than other assets out there, but it's not the lowest risk. Because of course, you could go and put all your money into the top 10 tokens, the top 20, 30 tokens, and they'll probably all make you money in this next cycle, okay? They probably will. The difference is that money really going to change your life or is going to have a meaningful effect unless you are, flip it again, putting a high risk amount of capital in.
Yeah.
So you're either looking at risk against the business, which can give you a bigger reward, or do you have a big risk in the amount of capital you're putting into a lower risk asset?
Yeah.
There's two ways you can look at it.
Yeah.
I prefer the fact that when you're buying into a lower risk, a fairly unknown project or business, you're looking at everything and you see everything as they progress. I've been in Wadzpay for nearly 3 years and I've seen everything, and I think by now, if I was fairly new to the project, and I can see why people look at it and go, nah, too much of a risk for me. It's because they haven't gone back the full timeline and really delved into what they're doing.
Roughly the same as you, November 21.
Yeah.
So I seen
a long time.
I seen the drop off as well and the negativity. I was in it
around the XTC news. That was, I think.
Yeah, I was in it then. So I've stuck to it. I've stuck with it. Yeah. So I've been in it a long time.
Yeah. I wasn't aware that.
Oh yeah. It was funny when it kind of bottomed out. I was coaching. Right. I had a football coaching session on, and the guy we was relaying it with, says, Roachy, he said, you need to look at your phone. I said, I'm just working on a free kick here.
Oh, yeah.
He said, you really need to look at your phone. And I seen it go from, it was doing well, it was doing well, to basically...
I think that might have been the time of like when they increased the supply.
It was around May time 20.
But people were very quick. Again, emotions run high on investments.
Yeah.
People put in more than they're willing to lose, and I have at some point, and everyone does it for the hope that there's a better tomorrow. And I think at the time, you're probably talking about the time when they increased the supply. But what actually happened is the communication wasn't very good. Again, they're down. Unfortunately, their downfall to what it is. So what they did is they put a statement out saying they were going to increase supply, but didn't let the community know that actually everybody is going to get an airdrop.
Yeah.
Meaning they're going to get the equivalent to this supply increase.
Yeah.
So they doubled the supply, therefore everyone will double their holdings.
Yeah.
Problem is, though, they didn't think about, which I don't think it's general knowledge and people really know too much, is an airdrop is a taxable event.
Right.
For American citizens.
Right.
So some weren't too happy because, and obviously Dubai is tax-free.
Yeah.
So and I think Singapore is as well on crypto. I think where the head office was, it was taxfree. So
Portugal might be, is that right? Portugal? No?
Yes, it is actually.
Portugal,
yeah, it's tax-free. I'll be buying a house somewhere around there.
I'll see you in Lisbon.
Villamora.
Yeah. We've got Steve Tweets, 75. Better late to the party than never.
Yeah.
So myself, Mike and Lewis have been talking about partnerships and future positives and potential news coming out for WTK. Obviously, you got me into the project. What's your current thoughts on where we're going to go from after the 13th?
Oh, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? What happens on the 13th? So we're hoping that it's positive. But what could be positive for Wadzpay and what they've achieved and what they're working with and what they're doing might not be instantly positive for the token. It will ultimately, but like what they could be excited about, maybe not what the community are wanting to be when it comes to the token price. But I think it's going to go at some point. It's not a case of if, it's just when. So it's patience. I know it's frustrating. Everybody's watching the other market move. But I think when we go with significant price action to offset what we're missing out on some of the other tokens moving. So I'm hoping that the 13th he discusses the progress with the regulation. Maybe he'll be able to allude to a time frame in which the launch date of the chain goes. And what we've got to remember is when that chain does go live, we're going live with utility. We're going live with partnerships in place. WTK having a usage, the gas on that network. It's all in place and we're going to be licensed, we're going to be regulated. So, yeah, I think just sit tight now.
I think what's apparent for us three, obviously not leaving Mike out, is that we're all confident that there's going to be real conviction behind this project. Obviously, that's why we're here today. But with that said, there's always the negativity, the pullbacks, the drawbacks. We've got to potentially have to ride this for the remainder of the project, or is it going to get to a point where the negativity is just stops? The scam tweets, the silly comments, that is really silly, I think, from my experience.
Sorry to interrupt, I think it takes one thing. As soon as they get regulation, scams out the window.
Yeah.
They're not being called anything when they get full regulation by a government. Okay, not by DIFC, which is a network of businesses, which, sorry to say, it's what Ripple have got currently. I don't know if they've applied for licensing. They may have, and just keeping it quiet. But like I was saying before, Wadzpay have openly said that they've applied for regulation within...
Is this Saudi government, the regulations with you?
No, it's with the Dubai government.
Okay.
Saudi is... don't know who... No, Abu Dhabi is obviously the central bank.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure. I think, geographically, it applies throughout all of UAE.
Right, okay.
So they can settle anywhere outside of the UAE then once they've got, obviously, the regulation.
I think what we've got to remember is crypto is really tribal. I mean, you've got your XRP maxes.
Yeah.
And the reason it's tribal is because when you're holding something, you kind of get that network effect where it's in everyone's interest to pump and share their projects and how good it is, because the more money that comes in, the more value there is. So obviously the value of the coin that they're holding goes up. So that's why you get that tribal side of things. And there's still people out there calling Bitcoin and Ethereum a scam. And they're clearly not, because nobody even owns Bitcoin. Like, nobody controls it. So but all that it'll just be like laughable, because they'll be making these claims and they'll be just ridiculous, because he's going to be like, well, look who they're working with. They're licensed. Yeah. Look at the partnerships. They're working with banks. They're working with central governments.
At the minute, it's just ill-faced opinions, unfortunately, because emotions are high. Wadzpay, like I was saying before, haven't always sang to the same hymn sheet as the investors, because they do things slightly different, which people aren't used to. You know, I don't buy stocks. And if I did, I'd have to have the same mentality as I've got with Wadzpay. Whereas most people in crypto, like I say, do not have patience and do not have the mentality of someone this is it. Yeah. And you were saying before, like, will it keep getting called a scam? You know, you can go back in time and you can look at. I remember looking at Quant when it was $1.50, 2018 QNT, and that reached in the last bull run $4.5 billion. Right, and at $1.50, I think it was priced in where Wadzpay is now, about £20 million market cap. So that did what? A 250 times return on investment in about 3 years. Okay, they're still getting called rubbish, not doing anything. Yeah.
So you've got Link.
By the Link community.
You've got the Link community, which so Quant and Link are kind of doing similar things. Yeah. One's an overledger and one plugs into another blockchain. Which is the best? Who knows? They've both got a place, but each Quant hate Link and Link hate Quant. And
they downsell each other.
But the difference is, I honestly don't think...
They've both got a place. They're both good.
I don't think the community, the Wadzpay community, do that to any other project. I don't think at the end of the day, we know what we've got. We know we're not there yet. You know, we can't go treading on other people's toes going, ours is better than yours. It doesn't need to be like that. No. They're going to prove that Wadzpay has value very soon, and it doesn't need to come out and...
Yeah. What Wadzpay needs now is the chain to go live, something tangible. And because you'd be stupid to compare us now to, say, any other utility coin, anything. XDC, HBAR, take your pick. Because we haven't got a chain that's doing anything. But once it does go live, it really will hit the ground running, just with what they've done in the background. 99% of projects release the chain, big marketing campaign, go looking for partnerships. Yeah. And some of them are sitting around 500 mil market cap and they're doing nothing.
And they've got them in place already.
And we're going to come to the market the other way around, licensed, regulated, partners. And the partners, they just can't be announced yet because they're under NDA. And they can't announce them until they're regulated, because they're working with financial institutions, banks, central governments, involved in CBDC projects. Not a fan of CBDCs personally, but they're there nonetheless.
If you sat on an island in a couple of years on your own,
I'm sure it
won't buy. It won't buy, will it?
So is it in live testing with the coin at the minute, or doing?
It's actually done. They reckon, don't they?
There's a private chain. There's a private chain been running now for quite some time.
So the private chain is something called a closed loop. Okay, closed loop chain. So basically, it's predominantly used for banks to banks. It's for transactions basically to be hidden. Yeah. Right. So the open public can't see it on a. Most chains show the transaction history. Yeah, you'd be able to have a little look where your transaction took place, what time, who it went to, and all the details. Whereas in a closed loop chain, on the side of the chain that Wadzpay have launched, it's not public knowledge. So for all we know right now, honestly, is that could be getting millions of transactions running through the chain already on the private side but it's not visible to anybody. All these
There was a screenshot.
basically, yeah.
There was a screenshot somebody taken way back of Anish sending a message to friends of his celebrating, was it 1 trillion transactions or something?
I remember seeing that. It circulated on Twitter, didn't
in
it?
February.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how legitimate that
Who
is.
knows?
It looked legit.
Yeah.
So
I think-
we just don't know.
There's speculative stuff and then there's factual stuff that you can actually find and dig up yourself. Like, for instance, we know and we've been told, from what we've been told anyway, is that the Wadzpay chain is, as I was saying before, the only chain that can do refunds on the blockchain. Okay. If you look deep enough, you will see a lot of payment businesses advertising their technology to offer refunds on the blockchain. Wadzpay have come out and said that they're the only business on blockchain to be able to offer that capability. Then what you do is you go and look a little bit deeper and you look, who is this business connected to and how does that connect back to Wadzpay in any way, shape or form if they're using that technology? And I will say right now, most, if not all the connections that I have seen where someone is declaring to use refunds on a blockchain have come back to Wadzpay one way or another. The most recent one, and I don't know his name off without looking at my phone, but there's a technology called the Emirates Digital Wallet, which are involving all 15 of the banks within the UAE. And that's then run by a company called Clip. And Clip have on their technology, they offer refunds on the blockchain. Okay. There's a guy called Vador. I can't, for the life of me, apologies if you're listening. Basically, he likes, he shares, he congratulates Wadzpay, he communicates with Wadzpay a lot, right? He is one of the shareholders for the Emirates Digital Wallet, which reverts back to the refunds on the chain, which then reverts back to Wadzpay. But it's small stuff like that.
Yeah.
That, yes, it's not concrete, but there's 15 of them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like,
you only need
hang on.
half of them to be right.
Fantastic. It's fantastic to have that insight though, because I never knew that until today.
Yeah. There's loads.
It's the insight that you're giving me, the depth.
Yeah. But
with
it's like
the traction that gives and the belief that it.
the second one, the bigger one that people that I've said it before is the Investment Corporation in Dubai. And I've said this a couple of times. So the Investment Corporation of Dubai, we've got partnerships with Dubai Duty Free. Okay, that's on the website, and that was published by Dubai Duty Free themselves, and also mentioned in one of their papers. We've got a partnership with the DMCC. We've got a partnership with we haven't got a partnership with NASDAQ, but I'll explain how this all leads back. Emirates MBD, we were working on the metaverse with Emirates MBD. Okay, so payments in the metaverse, that's public knowledge. Ramsey, who is the chairman for Wadzpay, was the CEO of Network International, who are owned by Emirates MBD, and he also worked for Emirates MBD. Investment Corporation of Dubai owned 20% in a company called Borsa, right? Borsa own 18% of NASDAQ. Okay,
Right.
so that goes back to NASDAQ.
Yeah.
Investment Corporation Dubai also own a stake in Dubai Duty Free, the airport.
Yeah.
Investment of Dubai also own a majority stake in a DMCC. Oh, here's another one. Investment Corporation of Dubai also own the Commercial Bank of Dubai. Okay, the Commercial Bank of Dubai, Wadzpay did an innovation challenge for in 2021 and came second for a FinTech award, also owned by the Investment Corporation of Dubai. There's more as well. There's more links, okay? And if you go looking, you will find. And the fact that you have got partnerships that are already connected to Wadzpay, people that work for Wadzpay were in high positions at those seats. There's one business where we're connected to 6 or 7 of their businesses that they own or own a percentage in. It's uncanny. And it's like...
And they're all big. They're all big institutions.
Dubai-based, Saudi companies, the UAE.
Silly money.
Yeah.
It's crazy, really, when you really look into things and look at who works for who and who endorses who. You know, I try and put myself in that position on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I go, right, if I was a business owner, why would I keep endorsing one person so much or congratulating that business? I don't care about their business unless I've got an invested interest.
I think this, for me, where we currently sit, is what gives me confidence in the project. So you was on about people calling it a scam. Well, until the regulation comes out and the chain actually goes live, you're always going to get that. But anybody with half a brain only needs to look at the team behind it, where they've come from and what they've joined.
Where they fit and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a suicidal career to go from a multinational company like MasterCard, like to...
We're talking of like Amit, who was the managing director of Aviva, like a £15 billion company.
Tiny little company. And you'd be like, why have you gone from there to there?
Why'd you do it if you don't see?
They're seeing something.
Yeah.
And then you look at their connections, reputable people with really good resumes, and they're liking, they're commenting, they're interacting with them.
Yeah.
So you know these people are legit. You know that they're the real deal. Yeah. And this is the team that are behind this.
This is what you got to take a step
They've
back
got
with
the
as well.
vision. They know what's coming.
Is these types of people, you bring people into a business to add value, and there is no way the likes of Amit, like we just said, Khalid, who was the director for Swift banking system in the UAE, right? All these types of people, right, are not coming to Wadzpay and bringing the network with them. What value are they adding? Why are they going to pay for their value if this person is coming to Wadzpay and adding zero value? You may as well have the next person in there. Yes, okay, they might have a hell of a lot of experience, but they're bringing people with them.
Yeah.
There's no way that...
That's the fascinating thing about watching the company grow. Every time there's a new body to help the company, they advertise who it is, they put a piece on them. It's transparent. Everything is there for the likes of us to research and see who is running the project. So I fully agree on that. And that's the fascinating thing about it. We're all in on this project, heavily invested myself, smaller kind of investments to you two I would put, but still a hell of a lot of money for what I would normally invest on a cryptocurrency. So I'm very optimistic. I think in terms of what I'm holding, I'm a turtle. That be right?
Have you looked at that?
I think so you can look at all these different scales. I think to be a whale, you've got to go through about 10.
A turtle is
columns.
a hard shell, not a hard face.
That's right, yeah. I think I stand at. I hold around the 200,000.
What is exciting? What is exciting as well, is that we are at the start of a bull run. If it hasn't already kind of started to pick up, we're nowhere near away yet, but it's starting, and we're potentially going to go live on the cusp of that. Like if it's any time this quarter, you've got the Bitcoin halving coming up in April. It's always a catalyst. The price doesn't move straight after. There's probably about a 9-month lag, but you get steady growth, and then we get takeoff. We're gonna be catching the momentum at the best time, like when the market is bubbling, and like shit coins are pumping. They've got nothing. So if we come out and we're like, look what we're doing. Look at our transactions per second, and we get a bit of momentum in a bull run. You mentioned price earlier. Anything can happen. Literally anything can happen.
Let's get off the fence, because everyone's always on the fence.
It's hard.
The thing is, when there's not recycled money in a happening, so it's just the same money moving in and out of project at the moment. In a bull run, new money comes in.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, is no one can put the finger on it, because honestly, I've seen, and I say it, and I've missed so many opportunities. Like one very recently, Trius went to 17 cents.
Yeah.
I held a hell of a lot of them under $1.
Yeah.
Only a year ago.
Yeah.
A year ago, it bottomed out at about 80 cents, and I bought a lot. And I thought, no, I don't know. I like it. A lot of speculation on it.
I
like
really
Wadzpay.
like that project.
Yeah,
Really
a lot of speculation on it.
Yeah.
But nothing solid yet. And I hadn't done enough research. And I'll put my hands up and say that. I hadn't done enough research on what they were offering. And I sold it.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw, but I didn't do enough research. And if I'm being honest, I think that's most people looking at Wadzpay right now. They like what they see. They're not doing enough research
a lot of people are lazy.
to have longevity.
They want it spoon-fed. They want information spoon-fed. And you mentioned earlier that they're not hitting you with loads of news. Like they're working quietly behind the scenes and building, because they can't say much at the moment. And people, like I say, they want to be spoon-fed. Yeah. And what you've got at the moment is maybe new money starting to come in, but the majority of it is just crypto enthusiasts jumping from projects to projects at the moment, and traders. when the bull run comes in, you know when it started because the guy in the corner shop starts talking about crypto. Everybody's talking about it. And that's when the new money's coming in.
That's what's going to happen someday.
Yeah.
Someday, not too far from now.
Yeah, it will. Within the next 18 months, we'll.
Yeah.
Well, you see the way they phase CDs out. Who would have thought, you buy a nice car 10 years ago with a CD player in it. You'd be hard pressed to buy a car now with a CD in it. And the way things move
back,
on.
Mate. Don't not my generation.
It's literally the way time moves. Crypto, I think, is what everyone, you can agree or disagree, but I think we're 5 years away from it being
adopted.
Mainstream.
Look at the internet. There's a tipping point. Like people, why do we need email? And until you had an encryption where you could buy securely online, everyone said, "Oh, don't put your credit card online. You'll get your bank emptied."
But there was a time where it was dangerous, though.
It was,
and I think that's
before the encryption came, and then that came, and then the internet boomed, and Web3 is just like the next phase of that. It's an opportunity that everyone should be looking at and educating themselves because it's going to happen. The genie's out of the bottle. It's just going to start. It's just adoption now.
And I do think it's just laziness. And like you said, if people don't want to get involved, I don't think it's because the information is not accessible, because it is there. Yes, you have to be careful for the type of information you are reading and the advice you're taking off people. But I do believe the information is there. And when people really do delve into what this technology is and what is happening in the world, then you put two and two together, and it's not going anywhere. It's the new money. It's
the beauty of it is as well.
Totally agree.
We can't own a piece of the internet.
No,
you can only own what's built on it. Now imagine if you could own a piece of the internet, the value of that because of the amount of things that's built on it. It's unfathomable the price.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you're getting with Web3. You can own a piece of the base layer. So you're owning a piece of the network that, say, the next Amazon gets built on.
Yeah.
So then without the base layer, Amazon's nothing. So not only have you got the value of Amazon that you could go and invest in as well, you're owning a piece of the thing that it's built on. You can't do that with the internet, but you can with blockchain.
But to second that as well, it's like even buying stocks now. You can only buy a stock that is floating. The difference is most businesses will not look to sell their shares, or let's say it's a tech business that's looking to go onto NASDAQ, until they see value in their business that they're willing to part with some of their shares. Yeah. And at that point, then the public can get involved, right? So a business might need to get to £1 billion in valuation before they've done the IPO sheets. And then at that point, you're buying a business and a stock that's already got a value of £1 billion, right? Whereas now, with cryptocurrency, it's a completely different game. You can buy a business from day one. Yeah. It doesn't have to get to a certain level of establishment before it gets accepted to be able to buy a piece of it. Yeah. This is why I see it as a blessing to buy Wadzpay at this price, because the technology behind it and what it's used for is targeting a billions and billions pound industry. Yeah. If Wadzpay are going IPO in 18 to 24 months, they said last year, so that'll be the end of this year, start of 2025. If they're going to achieve what they're going to achieve, they'll have a very, very high valuation. And I don't want to put a number on it, but if you're then looking at Wadzpay as a business to invest into when it goes IPO, you're not getting it cheap. You're going to be paying billions for it. Yeah. And the tech that it's using to align its value is also going to follow. And being able to buy its tech at the price is an absolute blessing, I believe.
It's amazing, again, talk about generations here. When we talked about stocks, I was in the electrical retail industry back in the day when Alan Sugar brought the first satellite dishes and receivers out. Well, we got wind that a company was starting to produce digital satellite, which was a company called Pacemaker Technology. So all the lads, we bought in for 500 quid, and we actually returned 40 grand on it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Just because we were in the right place at the right time with all the knowledge and your forensic has done you wonders for what you look for. You know exactly where to look for. It's been in that place at the right time. And I think the advice you're giving us today is second to none.
I think it helps. Yeah, I think it definitely helps. Timing does help. I don't care what anyone says, but you've also got to be looking in the right direction. Because if you're so focused on one thing, you're missing a lot of opportunity going the other way.
Yeah.
And I don't stop looking. I do look at other tokens.
Yeah.
Of course I do. Because what am I going to do when Wadzpay hits a few £1 billion market cap? Yes, I'm going to hold some.
But it's going to slow down.
It's going to slow down.
It's going to slow down.
Unless you want to slow down and go and sit on a beach all day, that's fine. But you got to look for these businesses now, because it's taken 3 years for Wadzpay to get where it is and hardly moved. Okay, so there's going to be businesses that are going to be maybe started last year that are going to be doing the same sort of path that you can still catch wind of in the next couple of years if Wadzpay does do what we
keep
think
our
is.
eye on your feed then.
We'll see if I'm on that beach or not.
It's a springboard, I think, WTK. I think for someone, I know you was joking earlier about the amount you hold, but you don't. It's not a shabby amount that you have.
Yeah, it's
but
it's a lot for me. What that was what we were saying. To a lot of my friends don't even know what crypto is. So, if I told them I held how many, they'd be like, how many? So for me personally, gas fitter, didn't know what crypto was.
It's a lot.
But even if it goes,
so I'm all right with
even
that.
if it goes to $2, which for
It's
me,
going to happen.
it's you're underachieving if you're happy with $2.
If you're doing what you're doing and targeting what you're targeting, as Wadzpay, and what we've seen, $2 is well.
We've undershot there. So I'm being conservative. I'm not saying it gets there overnight. Of course it won't. How fast it gets there, God knows, with momentum, anything can happen. But even holding a couple of 100,000 tokens, that's life changing for most people if they get to $2.
200 times the return on investment, or 100 times return on investment.
But you can, you at that point then you can diversify. You can go less risky. You can go into, if you want to be super safe, Bitcoin. You can go into some of the established blue chips, your Ethereum, and you'll still, in a bull run, conservatively 5, probably 10x your money on most things. Yeah. Not Bitcoin, you won't 5 or 10x on that, but the other alts you will. And then if you want to come down the risk curve, keep your eye on projects that are coming through.
Sibling projects.
Yeah, but you won't.
Fascinating. I could do this all day. Just a final summary of today. Final over to Lewis. What are we excited most about?
When Lambo.
I'd rather have a Ferrari. I think for those that have been invested in Wadzpay for a long time, I think they know it's kind of like the last 100 meters. When I say that is because I just think it's been a long journey. I think anyone coming into Wadzpay now, and damn, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Like you are so lucky to find it now. The benefits of being in it as long as I have is I've seen everything and I've been able to follow everything. When you're given that much information about a business in one go to research it, you're sieving through it. You're seeing 10% of a business and really only taking 10% in. Yeah. Whereas I've moved with it for years and I truly do see its value. I see where it's positioning itself and I see what it's going to do. I'm not getting my expectations up too much for the 13th. I do need something to come from the team. And I'm being completely transparent to anyone listening to this. I think, yes, we're not entitled to information, of course, but I think, unfortunately, the over-promises, I guess, over the last 6 months, it would be nice to see what they've done and where they're looking to go. So, final words would be, Wadzpay are coming. They will be a big business. If people can just hold on for a little longer, I think if anyone from Wadzpay is listening to this as well, I think there needs to be a little bit more communication on what you can, rather than what's the right word to use? Not announcements of announcements, but like just teasers. Yeah. Sometimes it's better to kind of just go, it's coming, here it is, done, than set expectations, because we are such a small cap at the moment and people are jumping in and out and moving around. And I think if you give solid information
do you think some of the reasoning why?
Of the lack of communication? I think it's the only...
The in and out.
Yeah, I think it's probably the only reason why, if I'm being honest, because the business looks amazing on paper. Mm-hmm. It's amazing for the price of it, amazing. But then the red flags are, where's your communication? But then you've honestly just got to kind of go, understand what they're doing. Because, and I know I said it earlier, but look at the team, look at the business, look who they are, look where they're going. Who cares in a year's time if they didn't tell us about this a few weeks earlier than when it's out?
And that team they have, I mean, considering who they all are, have probably been in boardrooms who have overpromised and underdelivered, and learned to underpromise and overdeliver.
And overachieve.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the stance they're taking.
Yeah. And I think
my
my head is kind of those coming from the community. And I think that's what's frustrating everybody is, unfortunately, people aren't seasoned investors. They're just your normal Joe, found an opportunity and seeing potential and hearing comments and pass around the community. And it's like Chinese whispers sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, people will then say something else and something else. And then unfortunately, there is people in the market that will try and manipulate it and, you know, have more money than others and are able to do that. But yeah, I think there's good times around the corner. I think the biggest, the stamp for me is regulation. I will hold on to Wadzpay for as long as it needs to be if we get regulation and when we get it, because that to me says they are legitimate and they are a proper business.
Mm-hmm.
So regulation, better communication.
Yeah. So what I'd like to see for the AMA is regulation. I'd like to hear something about it.
Yeah.
And what I'd like them to do is probably it's not even communicate on a more regular basis. It's when you do,
Give us something to go
give
with.
us a bit more solid. That's all it
The
is.
thing is as well,
Up to stay, anything to...
he's kind of said it all, but I think going to the AMA, what we've got to bear in mind, this is Anish that's doing it. He's putting himself out there.
at the forefront of it. Yeah.
Now
He hasn't done one for a year and a half. By
this
the way.
is his baby, this.
Yeah.
So gut instincts or common sense tells you that if he's putting himself out there with an AMA, knowing that they didn't deliver at the end of the quarter, he's got to be saying something.
Yeah.
And I think he's not stupid, he knows that. And if anyone who's followed this project for a while knows that he's quite a flamboyant character. He likes to boast, doesn't he? He likes to let you know what he's achieved.
I'm glad you said that.
No, he is.
Swagger
He's a
guy,
bit of a car salesman.
Yeah.
Sorry, Anish. No, but he does like to.
Yeah.
Well, he's proud of what he's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think he's going to come out there. Will he give us a date, an absolute date? Well, if the regulation's not being passed, he won't be able to.
No.
But I think he's going to be giving us something positive. Otherwise, I just don't know why he'd put himself out there. It just doesn't make sense.
So from Steve, tweet 75, just a positive
I'm hoping so.
a positive response from Anish. That's what
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
looking for.
I think they'll be showing a bit of love considering when the time is the 13th of February. I think.
Well, it's pancake day. It's Rose Tuesday,
Pancake
isn't it?
Day and
Christ.
Valentine's Day. And we all love
Will it be a
pancakes.
flat
Yeah.
pancake?
And
Well, on
Valentine's,
that,
yeah.
Well, apparently Pancakes Day's for like thingy in your sins, isn't it?
Shrove Tuesday. Yeah,
It's getting rid of your sins. So let's see if
Ash
he goes
Wednesday
right.
follows as well.
Yeah.
Fixes it all.
Oh God.
Well, I'd like to thank you all for coming in. Who knows if it's a good announcement on the 13th and we get to do this as the project goes on. I'm happy to do it again. If anyone likes,
Absolutely.
anyone that would like to tune in, watch
word of a
us
sign,
guys,
guys.
chew the fat
Here
over,
it
all
is.
things crypto.
It'll be interesting
yeah.
to do one just after the halving and talk about like the market where it's at.
Is that in April, you say? Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, it's sometime in April.
Reflect on how we were here now
Yeah.
Yeah.
and see where it's at, because
Be a good idea.
it will show, it'll be proof in the pudding that mentality can switch in an instance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it really can.
Great.
Maybe talk about a few other coins that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
That'd be good as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Mike, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, you too. Thanks,
Lewis.
Ian. Thanks for having us.
Thank you
Gentlemen,
very much, Ian.
Steve.
It's opened my
Thank you,
eyes
yeah.
and it's given old man a better insight to what is considered in my generation a very, very misty market, should we say. Let me look into it. And thanks very much, guys. We appreciate it. Thank you.
So if
Cheers,
anybody wants to reach out to Steve, especially regarding maybe getting into crypto, and Lewis, follow the link. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you again. Take care.